kind of love it. After shooting mine afterwards, I'm like, why would I bring that home?
What's up, squad? Today we are doing one of the very most important videos of 2022. That is the complete bow buying review. MFJJ, break it down.
We're gonna have Cassie here try our 4 major brands that have been our most popular and let her decide what she thinks is truly the best bow, break down the idiosyncrasies of each one, and let you guys see what she decides.
This is Cassie Williamson from the West Side, one of our subscribers. You guys, if you want to come do this with us in the future, it would be a good idea to subscribe to the channel. Hang to the end. We're gonna break down every single piece of the buying process and let her select a brand new bow.
So first things first, we'll talk about what bows we're going to go over with you here. This is a prime inline. It's a 33-inch axle to axle. The rest of these bows are all going to be 29 to 30 inches axle to axle. Next one is our V3X29, which has been the best seller so far this year. All these have been set down to Cassie's draw length of 55 pounds. She said 57, but I said 55 to be safe, and 26.5 inches. This is a 6-inch brace height, 29-inch, or 6-inch brace, 29 axle to axle. All the bows are real similar in speed. This is the Eva Shockey or the Solution SD from Bowtech. Because of her draw length, this bow seemed like it would make a little more sense to test rather than a SR350. It's also set at the same draw length and weight. I want to say it's on comfort. And the Ventum Pro 30, also 30-inch axle to axle, 6-inch brace. All real comparable bows, all real similar. This is typically what somebody would walk in the shop and want to try to figure out which ones they actually want to purchase. That's what we're going to run through, and they seem to be the most appropriate out of what was available. I didn't have a PSE in a 60 pounds, so I couldn't throw that into the mix too, but figured 4 is a lot to wade through to begin with, so we'll see what she thinks. Please don't comment down below that we didn't use this brand or that brand or that brand or that brand or that brand. These are what people ask for the most around here in this area, so this is what we use to test. They're our most common sellers. Sorry if yours didn't make the list. It's not that we think it's garbage or anything like that. These are what people just ask for the most, so that's what we're using.
Guys, we want you to meet Cassie Williamson. She's a subscriber of our channel and said, hey, she wanted to come over and test out these bows. Like, hey, who better than someone who's just average like the rest of us to give you their opinion, tell you what they think. This is 100% no pressure, no brands matter. She's just picking out what's important to her, but like, I want you to learn a little bit about her, so let's talk about that. Where are you from?
Olympia, Washington. Born and raised.
What do you hunt for?
Mainly blacktail and Roosevelt elk.
Archery?
Both archery and rifle, yep. Been doing archery last few years. I actually got a multi-season tag last year, so hunted all seasons last year, so yeah.
And how long have you been hunting for?
I think 9 or 10 years.
Someone's got to go back and check.
Yeah, so something around 9 years.
And shooting your bow for how long?
About 8 years.
And you're pretty good at bowling, right?
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite thing. My family owns a bowling alley in Olympia, so I've been doing it my whole life. My favorite thing to do.
Draw weight?
57, 55 pounds.
Cool. And do you know your draw length?
26 and a half.
26 and a half, 55, so that's pretty common for... oh, we got a guy that's part of the channel that's about the same.
Little Daniel. Yeah, little Daniel. He's always compensating with that weight to try to make up for that short draw length.
I thought this would be pretty cool. This is a very middle of the road type setup, and I think it applies to a lot of us as to like middle of the road draw length, and she's going to give us her opinion and nothing more than that, and we're going to whittle down through the bows. Josh, tell us a little bit about the process.
So usually what we try to do once we get everything set exactly the same and as fair as possible is have you shoot 3 arrows out of each one and then eliminate one. Whichever one you think felt the worst or was the least comfortable to you, just take it out of the equation and then go through and cycle through the next 3 until you get down to 2, and then just go back and forth 1 arrow at a time until you can determine which one feels better to you. Paying attention to draw cycle, vibration, grip, and balance. Those 4 main things will help you determine which one you like. And she's also got her old VX R28 here, which is a pretty dope setup all in itself to start with and compare with, so she can understand what that is versus one of these, so she can appreciate what she's buying, or maybe she'll think that's better and just like that. We'll see.
Cassie's job is basically to shoot the bows, and she's going to give us her opinion on draw cycle, vibration, grip, and balance. That's our main criteria. We want to give you something quantifiable, and we'll take it from there. Does that sound fair?
Yep, I'm ready.
Because we have yours here, I'm gonna have you shoot 3 arrows out of yours first. I'll pull the arrows as we go. You don't need to use yours. I've got some right here. Sweet. So we'll have you shoot the 3, set it down, and start with the next one.
Okay.
And like I said, just point out a couple of things. Try to put them in that bail with the 3 spot on it.
You want me to shoot?
Yeah,
or?
you just shoot. Like I said, just kind of pretend like I'm not here, and I'll mention a couple of things as I go.
Good. It's for me. Pick away, so I can take any criticism, I promise.
Well, I like to think I'm relatively gentle with the criticism. I like the fact that you're pulling. That's good.
What are you shooting for release, Cass?
Try to be better. It's a, it doesn't have the name on it. It's a Friday night special, Spot Hog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That size and everything fits real good. If anything,
It feels very comfortable.
If anything, I would emphasize push your front hand forward a little bit.
Okay.
You got a good follow through and a good pull, but you're probably just pulling and not pushing.
Not doing both.
So if you apply a little bit of front pressure as you're pushing towards the target, it'll make your bow steady a little bit, and it'll also make it explode forward a little. A lot of times when you're doing this, if you're not pushing forward, your shoulder kind of gives in and comes back into your body, and as you get fatigued, your front hand does this.
Right, okay.
If you push, your front hand typically won't
Yeah, I
do that.
feel like
even
I'm
when you're
kind of
fatigued.
sitting back.
You are.
Oh, yeah.
You are. But it's, I mean, honestly, I don't know if you've had any lessons or worked with anybody before, your form's awesome. It really is.
That's because I watch you.
I had some guy from Germany sending me pictures this morning trying to figure out what was wrong with this, and I told him 3 things, and he comes back 20 minutes later, he's like, that was exactly what it was, oh my God, thank you. Right? Take all this weight off there, and he's like, man, this thing's a piece of cake. All right, so that'll be number 1. That's our baseline. Now, when you fire this first one, I'm going to stand behind you since there's not a sight, just to make sure you're relatively pointed on the bill. So you got an idea of where you're actually at. This is the Prime Inline 3.
I've shot a prime before, but it's been a while.
Been a minute?
Yeah, oh, that feels way different.
Aim a little lower, Cass. Okay, that's about the middle of the bail. Pretend like that's your pin.
Okay.
All right, go ahead whenever you're comfortable.
Yeah, that felt. Hit my arm on that one.
Let's talk about grip position and hand position a little bit before you shoot this again. So pretend like you're holding the bow, just like you're shooting that way, okay? All right. So this grip position is really good, but you kind of hyperextend your arm. I'd like to see it more, keep it straight, but more like that. And your shoulder
feels weird.
Well, your shoulder's up and forward. It should really be back. Your follow through and everything looks really good. It's just because your shoulder's up, you're more prone to hitting your arm.
Right.
And you're more prone to, after 15, 20 shots, you probably start moving a lot more and your groups start opening up more because you're using muscle groups that fatigue faster. Something to work on, something to play with a little bit.
I could definitely feel it.
That's all of a sudden like, oh my God, why does that hurt? Yeah, it's
Yep.
still a prime. We haven't changed yet. Arm position's already better. Go ahead whenever you're comfortable. We're really should be just trying to pay attention to how does this feel? How does it feel in your hand? And how does it feel when it goes off?
The grip is awesome. I will say that. That feels pretty sweet. And it's like super, I mean, I know it doesn't have anything on it. It's like super light.
Yeah, they're all going to feel about the same in that one just because of the weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but preliminary 3.
So this is the 29?
That is a 29.
Okay. I like the black.
Well, you did say that was your preferred, so I tried to find black in all of them. This time, before you fire, I want you to think of just pushing your hand forward just a little bit. Okay?
I was trying, and then I started thinking about the backside, and I'm like,
I know. We are creatures of habit, and it's hard to not only change a habit, but think about more than one thing at once. It's very difficult.
I will say this draw, maybe it's just because it's familiar, but it feels a lot smoother than that one did.
A product that feels similar to you is probably going to be appealing, and that's not necessarily a bad thing by any means. I mean, this is probably going to feel more like home. There you go.
That felt better.
So if your bow just sits sedentary when it goes off, that's impossible if you're pushing.
Right.
It should go.
Okay.
And what you'll find when you actually put a target and a sight and a pin on it, when you do that little bit of push, all of a sudden this it just sits there a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's also real critical on draw length. If your draw length isn't right, like say it's a ½ inch too long, quarter inch too long, and you try to do that, all of a sudden your shoulder comes up and it starts moving around a lot. You have to find that optimum point. So when you're pushing and pulling, you're pushing straight forward and pulling straight back, not slightly left, not slightly right, right? Those have to be perfectly in line to get that to when you push and pull forward. Just go, and stop. What's Joel's phrase? Like, embrace the float.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to move. 85% of the time it's in the middle.
Just got to get over it.
I'm content with 85% of the time hitting the middle of the target. Well, and when 85% of the time it's in the middle and you are good with that, it turns into like 95, 97% because you're not trying to move it around. That movement that you see is you trying to move it back. Nice, nice, nice. Oh yeah. Thought you were gonna drop it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh no.
It still will not leave your hand because it doesn't have natural forward movement.
Okay.
What you just experienced was first of all, you didn't know what was going off.
Right.
At all.
No.
Right? So you reacted and it went off before you could react. When I was telling you to stop touching the front of your bow, you're holding it because you're anticipating it going off. If you didn't know and reacted, that's what we want it to feel like. All right, so that's the 3 out of that before we get all the way through.
Excited.
Yeah.
I haven't shot a Bowtech in a long time. So.
This is the Bowtech Eva Shocking. It's the exact same bow as the Solution SD if you don't like blue highlights on your bow. Same identical 100% bow, no difference whatsoever other than the blue.
I can already tell you I don't love the grip.
It's a 50-50 on people who love it or hate it. It's different.
I'm also used to a different one, so I mean,
of course.
It could be oh, that was comfy.
It's on comfort.
Oh, that was.
So it's going to feel pretty comfortable. We can flip-flop it to performance so you can feel a more equivalent velocity.
It feels short.
It's the same draw length as the others. We start in the middle of the bail as you work through the shot. It shouldn't drift off the bail, so we're okay. Nice.
Feels pretty good.
It's a nice feeling bow. Well, to be honest, they're all nice.
Comfy.
They're all nice feeling.
Yeah.
Bowtechs and Matthews load in a similar fashion. So if you're used to a Matthews, that's probably going to feel similar.
Okay.
Where the Hoyt the Hoyt loads differently, so that's probably going to feel different, and it might feel different in a good way, or it might feel different in a bad day.
I've never shot a Hoyt before, so.
For someone who's really big into bowling, I imagine repetition of what you do exactly the same every time is pretty important.
Happens to be really important.
Happens to be really important. So it's totally relatable to your
it really is.
to your higher level professionalism stuff.
That was probably the best shot that I've ever felt in my life.
Did we shoot 3? We
amazing.
didn't. Oh, there are 2 right next to each other. Like, where's the 3rd arrow?
That was cool. Yeah. This is super comfortable to shoot.
It is.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's different.
It is. Now, this also
that's kinda cool.
It also has a dual grip option where you can put side plates just like Matthews or what have you.
I like that.
Yeah. They've done some real good work to a comfort on the grip. So, anyway, give her a whirl.
Yeah, that is comfortable.
This is our second most popular bows this year. This is a Hoyt Ventum Pro 30.
Oh, that was surprising. Okay. It's a little tough at first, and then it just glides.
It's front loaded and it's very gentle in the back. So every bow manufacturer does it a little differently there. Some are back loaded and some are front loaded.
See, I could feel my back starting to shake, but like this didn't feel like it was.
You can shake a lot if you.
That feels awesome. Smooth.
It is.
How do you nitpick something so?
It'd be easier if we threw like a lot of brands out there, because there's some that feel drastically worse. I typically don't sell very many of them, so there wouldn't be ones I'd put on the table.
No, I've triggered this, but I was so focused on pushing it, I was like, forgot about the other part.
All right, so this is the part in The Bachelorette where you gotta send some poor guy home.
Yeah.
So who do you want to send home?
Not this one.
Which one right now felt the easiest to draw cycle? Which did you like the best?
Well, overall easiest was the Matthews, and I only think that because that was kind of like hard at first.
It's front loaded.
But then it was like super smooth.
So maybe like the easiest. Here, then here, or there, or what?
I really liked that.
Okay, so we'll call that 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so our order in Matthews is first, Hoyt's second, Bowtech's third, Prime's fourth on draw cycle. Felt vibration.
Might just because I'm used to it, so it just feels familiar.
I'm sure it is, but what we're measuring here is what you think.
Yeah.
Not what everybody would think. It's what you think. So vibration. So the Bowtech was 2, the Hoyt was 3, the V3X was 4.
Yes.
And the Prime was 1, right?
Yep.
Okay, so vibration. Order you liked. Number 1.
That felt really good. Yeah.
Okay, so next. So that would be a 4.
4. Where are we at?
Hoyt, second one. There you go, 4. Now, what would you call next?
Probably the Matthews.
Okay, so Matthews would get a 3. This is a 3.
And then definitely the.
Definitely this.
Yep.
Okay, so that would get a 2, and then your Prime would get a 1. So which one did you like the grip the best on?
Well, I liked this the best until the Hoyt was pretty pretty darn comfortable. I liked the Hoyt grip.
We don't have to, like,
go for
I bash all the brands in one way or another, so don't worry about it.
I like I'm going to go the Hoyt.
Okay,
yeah.
so let's give the Hoyt a 4. Then the Prime a 3, I assume? Or you like that better than the Matthews grip,
yep.
right? All right, so give it a 3. Give the Matthews a 2. And then the Bowtech a 1.
Yeah, I really didn't love that.
Now, balance, and we didn't really terribly talk about this, but did any of them feel better in your hand holding them as far as balance?
That Hoyt felt really good, yeah.
Okay, so let's give the Hoyt a 4. Oh, the Hoyt's looking real promising right now. Okay, so next on balance, what do you like better?
The Matthews.
Okay, 3. Eva, I'm assuming. Yep. All right, 2, 1.
Actually,
You like the balance
really
better
liked
here?
the way that
Okay.
balanced
Okay,
better than
so let's give the Bowtech a 1 and the Prime a 2. So that would be a 6.
Yeah.
That would be a 15 out of 16 possible. Ooh. Oh boy. 4, 7, 10, 12. And 7.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of the Prime because honestly I couldn't stand the draw cycle, if I'm being totally honest.
There you go. Well, out she goes.
Yep.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Didn't think we were going with some clean here. All right, so Matthews V3X29.
Round 2.
Round 2. When you go through this round, so we feel vibration a little better,
Yeah,
I'm going to have you take the third arrow and just grip it.
okay.
Don't try to relax, do anything. Like if you watch my reviews, it's the same thing.
So I can really
Put your hand on it and hang on to it. And just grip it after you fire and don't let go of it until it feels like it's done vibrating.
Okay.
That helps you with by trying to figure out which
Right.
one has more vibration. Because it's like noticeable, and at first you wouldn't feel it unless you were actually gripping it. If you shot a bow correctly, you wouldn't really ever feel the vibration. So you kind of have to do it wrong to tell. You feel a little, but not so much.
I definitely feel a lot more pressure here than I normally feel like I do.
Almost like you know how your hand was.
Yeah.
Because you know that's where left to rights come from, right? So when you miss left to right, it's all in your hand.
Right. Just
Up and downs are in your head orientation with your peep. Left to rights are in your hand. So if you miss left to right, other than obviously your pin just drifting off and it wasn't pointed in the right spot when it went off.
So I'm gripping this one.
Yeah, just grip
Okay.
it. Grip the snot out of it. Hang on to it real tight so you can feel everything, and then don't set the bow down until it stops vibrating.
Okay.
Notice the difference in what you can feel?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there is vibration in there. I didn't notice it at
vibrate
first.
as long as I thought it would, though. It was like, boom, stop. And now that it's sitting in my hand, it's actually not so bad.
No, it's very easy to tell. Like you can feel the edge of the grip in your palm, and you know where your hand is.
Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah.
I could feel my back just starting to like.
You're getting tired, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not used to using those
Yeah,
muscles.
I'm telling you, those you'll feel that so much more tomorrow than you do today.
But it's
too.
nice to not feel it. Through.
This is the grip and rip.
I'm interested
Squeeze
to see
it
what
and
this
hang
feels
on to
like.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure I don't miss.
For the vibration? All of them.
Oh. It was more violent, that's for sure. It was like, I could feel it throughout my whole entire, like to my elbow.
It's amazing. There's a couple of small, tiny little changes, and you go, I had no idea that was there.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, that's it.
It's comfortable, but the bottom of the grip just feels kind of like fat. Does that make sense? I don't know how to.
Pull it back and try
Feels
to
like-
duplicate your hand.
Yeah. Okay.
And you'll feel your hand moving around, and you're not really sure where it is.
That felt good. Yeah, this feels nice. The beginning of that cycle is just a little like.
It's stiff in the front. Now, draw cycle being important, I agree. But you will also get used to a draw cycle of a bow, so I wouldn't give it too much weight. I mean, it should be important. It shouldn't be ignored. But 100 shots from now, that won't feel super stiff. It'll start to feel normal.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna grip this one, right?
Oh yeah.
right.
I think you said so. Yeah, I'm getting shaky.
It's all right.
Those back muscles.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. You want to shoot too much more. So make sure to hang on.
It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
A little bit longer, like, but it wasn't violent at all. It was just like, yeah, just a little bit longer, but super tame.
All right, so we're gonna rank 1 through 3, 3 being the best, right? So which one was the best out of draw cycle this time now that you've gone through them again?
Probably the Matthews.
Okay,
I just don't.
so give that a 3. Here, let me steal your pen for a second.
Oh, yep. Good call.
That's gone, so we don't have to look at that category. Then Hoyt, then
Definitely
Bowtech?
Hoyt, yeah.
Okay, so 2, 1. Vibration, now that you gripped them all.
The Matthews was definitely
3?
yeah.
Grip, now that we've felt a little bit more on grip and duplication.
I'm just gonna put that there.
Okay, yeah, we know we hate that. We got it. All right, so which one of the grips felt better to you?
It's kind of a toss-up. I don't know how to.
I give them both a 2.
I'm just gonna tie it.
Tie it. All right, now balance. Did one feel more balanced than the other to you?
Well, this was the least. It had the most, like, I felt like sway. Yeah. So that's
gonna get a
definitely
1.
the one. Gosh, that's tough. Can I tie them again? Because that's pretty.
feel they're equal. Well,
I'll focus more on that.
What you're struggling with right now is the same thing that 95% of people that come in here and try bow struggle with.
Yeah.
They get to here and then have a hard time, typically.
Okay. Well, we'll tie them.
Yeah, this time. So we've got 10, we got 4, 8, 10. So remember that was higher last time?
Oh yeah, it was.
It was. It's funny. We got some sad music we can play.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Are you ready? Well, it looks like we're down to the last 2, and I think she's gonna have a really hard time picking because she keeps going a little back and forth on which one she likes better, which is really common at this point. We've gone through a lot of these. We've probably put together at this point in the year 300 bows now, and almost everybody gets about down to the same thing that you're down to. They're really close on 2, and they ironically happen to be the same 2 in the most cases, not always, but in most cases. And this can be a really difficult decision. If we get to the point that you can't quite decide, we'll have to take some mechanical things into account probably. But we'll see. Here we go. It's totally up to Cassie here. Ready?
Yeah.
So normally at this point I would just go an arrow per arrow, but it's what you're comfortable with. If you want to shoot 3 and 3 again.
No, I think it'd be easier to differentiate.
So, what you'll find when you're only doing 1 is you're keeping it almost uncomfortable because you don't shoot them enough to get comfortable with one before you pick up another one. So you can really nitpick each thing.
Yeah.
And as you're going through one at a time, like shoot 1 out of each relaxed and then 1 not. And then 1 relaxed and then 1 not to help you decide which one feels better overall. Sound fair?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, now no focusing on push or pull or any of that. Let's just stay focused on the actual bows this time. I mean, the lesson's great, but let's make sure we're giving the bows its due. Here, you hand me that. Okay. I'll just hold them.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, the easiest way, arrow at a time.
Okay.
It'll start to get really pronounced really quick when we start going back and forth.
Think of all the things that I like and don't like.
That's it.
Gosh, that is hard.
It's hard, but the easiest way to do it is what we're doing.
Notice differences now that I'm...
It's funny. Yeah, I mean, like if one goes, God, I kind of felt like felt weird in my hand, or you know, that geez, that does seem to vibrate a little more, or this seems like it's loud. You know, any of those things. Anything that jumps out at you, because every time you fire it, you're gonna have a thought.
Right.
And if we share that thought with people, it helps them make a determination. Some people don't get to try all these things.
I'm trying to focus on kind of like balance too, and
yeah.
Because I feel like for me, I mean, with elk hunting, you could be pulled back for, I mean, ample amount of time. So it's like the balance part is super important to me.
Balance is important. Well, in balance, when you're on uneven terrain and things like that, it helps the bow get level on its own a little more if it's the better balance it is. But these are really close in balance, like really close to each other. It's never, I don't think it's ever been harder to pick, personally.
I like the way this feels in the hand a lot better. Holding it, the draw cycle I like more, but the...
Getting down to brass tacks here, let's make sure we've eliminated every variable we can eliminate. Absolutely. That bridge lock has its own little set screw thingy, so they put them on there, just so we're being as fair as we can.
So for me, like, for this bow, what I don't love is the whole beginning of the experience.
If you're trying to pull back on an animal, you're going to move more if it's pronounced more in the front than the back.
Right.
So that's kind of the negative to it. And I imagine you get used to it, but it's always going to be there. So it's always going to give you that little more movement when you start your draw cycle.
Yeah, all of that just is a much more pleasant experience, I guess.
Yeah. Well, draw cycle is pretty important. You're hitting the same spot almost every time you fire without a sight. So I mean, that means you're doing things consistently, which is very
Trying
good.
to. Isn't even good at it. But... Okay, I think I can.
We can go as long as you want.
No, I think I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna do this this one last arrow, but I'm pretty sure.
There's no rush. Think you've decided? There's only one rose, people. Only one rose. Draw cycle. What's felt better?
It's definitely gonna go to the Matthews.
2 to the B3X, 1 to the Hoyt. Vibration.
The Matthews.
2. Grip.
The Matthews.
2. 1. Balance.
I think the Hoyt definitely takes the balance on that. It felt really, really good.
I wouldn't actually disagree with you there.
Yeah, that felt really good on the hold.
One thing Matthews does, and you can see it in the design, if you try to get these things about the same, is Matthews puts their grip a little lower than everybody else. It's because a large percentage of people don't use a stabilizer. And if you put your grip a little lower, the bow wants to feel like it's rolling forward a little more, to where you don't need a stabilizer to give it the stability and the feel. So it's super common. Matt's done that forever. So that will feel typically a little top heavy, where that won't. Yeah, Cassie, what'd you think after you got done with these, and how did we end up with these numbers overall?
So ultimately, I settled on the V3X. I shouldn't even say settled. You're not settling on something that's that good. It's like
the thing you thought was the nicest is never a settle.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But for me, the biggest things were the draw cycle and the grip. Balance is important, but I feel like since I can like supplement that in other ways, maybe that
stabilizers, you can change the balance of a bow pretty easily. Yeah.
These two parts of it, for me to be consistent, felt the best, especially the grip. The grip was kind of my biggest.
Well, and going through that process this way, did you feel like it was really easy to kind of weed it out?
Way easier than
you thought it would be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's funny how at first it all
totally
feels.
flipped.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I was gonna like the Hoyt the most.
Yeah, until you kept shooting it,
back.
And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I didn't notice this, or maybe I didn't notice that. This process that you're witnessing is really how I encourage everyone to try bows, regardless of where you're going. Ask the shop to set them up the same for you, whichever ones you're interested in, and shoot through it this way. And you'll feel things and see things that you didn't realize were there. And your shop may or may not point them out to you or help you emphasize that. But this is the easiest way to tell how things feel and making a decision of what you really think is the best and the characteristics of what matters, which Cassie decided was
the V3X.
Non-biased opinion, folks. You heard it here first. Try to keep the hate to a minimum because Matthews got picked. She's not biased.
I kind of love it. After shooting mine afterwards, I'm like, why would I bring that home? Yeah, I love it.